This episode of Cognitive Dissonance is brought to you by our patrons. You fucking rock. Be advised that this show is not for children, the faint of heart, or the easily offended. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago. This is Cognitive Dissonance. Every episode we blast anyone who gets in our way. We bring critical thinking, skepticism, and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes us mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome mat. This is episode 436 of Cognitive Dissonance. And we are on the eve of the inevitable coronation. Cecil.
Somebody needs to get out their horns, those trumpet things with the fucking banners on it. Brett Kavanaugh.
Hey. We're fucked now.
Oh, well, it was a circus, that's for sure, right? So,
you know, we record on Thursday. The confirmation inevitability. Confirmation process is going to be tomorrow, where they're going to vote majority tomorrow. That just needs a simple majority will almost certainly vote along party lines and confirm the inevitable. And so there's a lot to talk about here. And we were just talking a few minutes ago, and I was asking you, is the system broken? Is this whole system broken? And I was thinking about this, should there just be, if it's a fucking rubber stamp by the majority party, should we just let this thing be an appointment and not a nomination with confirmations? Are we just lying?
Right. I think we're lying. I think you're right. I think we're lying.
How masturbatory is this process?
Because we were talking earlier, and this is a really important point you made. It's a job that you're applying for. And sometimes when you get a bunch of resumes, you look through and you're like, then not this one. Yeah. It seems like this guy's got some weird shit in his past. I can't verify this year on his employment record. Oh, well, he goes into the can. Even if he was a good candidate, right? Even if he had all the other credentials, even if she had all the other credentials. Oh, you know what? We're just not going to hire this one. We're going to go with this other stack of people. Right. There's plenty of judges that you can choose from, but they are all in on this guy. And if you're so all in on this guy, even after watching all the testimony today, then you're right. It's not anything but the guy we want.
Right.
That's it. We just want this guy, period.
Well, part of the problem is if the president nominates somebody and then that guy doesn't get confirmed. First of all, has that ever happened? Other than when they wouldn't even have a hearing for Obama's guy.
Yeah.
When Garland never even got a fucking hearing.
Didn't Sessions get turned down for something in the past? Didn't he get refused? Yeah, so Sessions did. It was just a federal judgeship, so not an actual
Supreme Court
nomination. Yeah. So it's a lower court he was rejected from. He's the Justice Department guy.
I know. So. Well, he is until he gets fired for trying to justice too hard.
Evidently, that didn't matter.
Can you imagine, Jeff Sessions.
Yeah.
And we're too scrupulous.
Yeah.
Too scrupulous.
Guys, you're shooting for the moon here with Jeff Sessions.
Why? You got Jeff Sessions. Well, we need somebody
a little less ethical.
You know what?
Than Jeff Sessions.
Better call Saul. That's just.
We should just get David Duke in here. Let's see. Is he busy?
At what point have we descended into such a level of farce that the Onion just gives up and he's like, I can't.
I saw there was a couple awesome Onion articles today. One of them was Brett Kavanaugh wheels Kegger in for the for the hearing, and the other one, which I thought was amazing, was this is so wrong. Senator Grassley turns up the radio in the hearing area or whatever, turns up the radio to drown out her testimony. And I was just like, that is dancing.
That's rough.
That is dancing on a line.
That's rough.
That
Bravo,
I like.
Onion. Bravo, the Onion. Way to make us all feel weird.
Oh man. But I watched and listened to, watched some, listened to mostly the hearings today. And I got a chance to hear most, if not all, of Dr. Ford's testimony.
Okay.
And most of Kavanaugh's. I didn't hear the second half of his questioning process that was going on. But my gosh, there was some crazy shit that was going on. The first thing I want to mention is that we talked about this last week, that they were going to have one person who was going to ask questions for the Republican side. Now, the Democrats just had a conversation with Dr. Ford,
right,
as much as you can in that situation. You're allotted 5 minutes, and so they have a chance for 5-minute questions. But in between each Democratic senator's chance to question, they would cut back to this woman who's a prosecutor, basically a prosecutor, who's asking questions and basically, cross-examining Dr. Ford, asking her questions about her past. She never really seemed to ask her any questions about the incident. She seemed to ask her questions about whether or not she was afraid of flying and why that mattered. And they just basically tried to smear.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, they disparaged her character.
Yeah.
So hold on a minute, just because I'm a little blown away at the unprecedented nature of the occurrence.
Yeah.
So a woman came forward with a sexual abuse allegation, and rather than address the allegation itself, her character was impugned.
It's crazy, isn't it?
What?
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, Tom.
Write it down.
Kind of like a Supreme Court appointment. Yeah. So basically,
is there a playbook that they use? Is it like blue 42, blue 42? Like there's some guy like doing like fucking third base signals for like ask her about what she was wearing.
Exactly. Turn to your book, your handbook on toxic masculinity. But really, it was really interesting to see that conversation happen because, when they were asking her questions, the Democrats, they were just asking her a bunch of questions. And then the Republicans had to ask through this intermediary. And then when Kavanaugh comes in.
Because they're afraid.
When Kavanaugh comes in, though, they immediately are asking him questions and interacting with him. And
dudes are more comfortable with dudes. That's just a thing.
I said as much because Lindsey Graham started getting fucking super mad at one point. And he's yelling and he's screaming. And I thought, and I think I tweeted as much. I was basically like, look, they don't need an intermediary to be angry. They only need one when they want to look sympathetic.
Right.
They don't need one.
That's true.
They don't need one when they want to be angry because they're good at that. But it's when they want to look sympathetic. Now it's a big deal. Now we need somebody else. Now we need we got to hide behind this woman's skirts.
When you have to outsource your empathy.
I know.
Like that's
I
bad.
know, man.
Like, it's like,
I know.
That is like, I don't know how to relate to, what do you call them? Wow, mans. Wow. Is he using an S at the end? Yeah. Or no, it's an E. You use an E in that? Yeah. Women? I don't know how to.
Men.
You know what? Mother doesn't let me talk to them.
That's exactly it.
Really?
It's mother. Mother doesn't let me talk to them. You got to hold a sheet up to have a conversation with a woman.
It is unbelievable.
I'm surprised they didn't make her wear a burqa.
We don't want to look bad. Hide behind her. Yeah. Like that. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you still like is she gonna like beat up the bully on the playground for you too?
I gotta read what Orrin Hatch said too. Because after I heard this, I was like, okay, them vetting questions to a woman makes sense. So the tweet is, Hatch just called Ford, quote, an attractive witness, end quote. Asked to elaborate what he meant, he said, quote, she's pleasing, end quote.
I just don't.
And then
why are these the leaders?
And like one of the guys on the committee leans forward. He's like, I could smell your cunt. He just like jerks off and throws it in her hair. Right there. Just there you go. I bit my wrists. It's like the fucking Thunder and Silence of the Lambs.
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable though. I mean, like there's a reason why they're going, because they're so out of touch, man.
They're all a million.
They're all a
million too.
They're all a million. They're all old white dudes. And I'll tell you, man, you watch these guys and how quickly they get outraged that Brett Kavanaugh had something happen to him, right?
Right.
But not a single one of them said a peep while this woman is basically saying, she was sexually assaulted. Right. Not a single one of them saying anything then.
Yeah, because again, I'm joking around, but like I don't think these are people who know how to empathize outside of like, well, you know, I mean, like, I'm a dude and I enjoy the various privileges of dudedom.
Being a dude.
You know, I gotta say, it's really great being a rich white guy.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, if I could get born again tomorrow and I could choose rich white guy, I would check all 3 of those boxes.
Absolutely.
You know, and like, I'll be honest, I would check all 3 of those boxes too. Of
course.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I know that those confer certain privileges.
Absolutely.
That's why I would choose them over other things. It's a fucking simple litmus test.
A couple of the things that they tried to like gotcha on was at one point they're trying to say, you flew here, but you said that when you mentioned this, you said you didn't want to fly. And they were trying to figure out where we were going to do this before you said you would fly out here. And we just want to confirm that you flew here, and you said on your CV that you travel here and you traveled here and you like to do this and you've been here and you've been to the South Pacific. And she's like, yeah, I've traveled all those places. But like, it's kind of like this gotcha moment, like, oh, you said you wouldn't come here for that, but hey guys,
but you're willing to travel
for vacation. It's like, man, I have to take meds every time I get on a plane, right? I have to take meds. I don't like to fly. I don't fucking go out of my way to do it. But I know I got to get places fast if I want to try to preserve even a moment of my vacation.
Right.
Like, it's just the way we do things in the modern times. That's it, period.
It's like, you brought up a good point earlier, and it's like, hey, do you want to, are you willing to suffer some discomfort and anxiety to go to Fiji? Yeah, I am. Are you willing to suffer some discomfort and anxiety in order to have your character assassinated on national television?
Exactly.
Well, no.
Yeah.
What?
I'd prefer not to.
Look, to go to Fiji, I'll put cigarettes out of my arm.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, I'll put a whole pack of cigarettes out on my arm, but I wouldn't do that so that I can take out the garbage later.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What the fuck? One is worth the discomfort.
Yeah.
The other one is like, that's going to suck anyway.
It's going to suck the whole time.
Like, oh, can we add another layer of suck to it? Well, maybe no, because I got out of the room, so I didn't have to.
They were asking her all kinds of questions that were just trying to, like, basically trying to assassinate her character. And I saw on Twitter tons of people, because I was also tweeting throughout the entire process. And there's all these guys that are tweeting, oh, she should have remembered this. Oh, she should, her memory, there's gaps in her memory. She should have remembered how she got home that night. I would have remembered that. And you're just like, guys, here's a perfect example. Like, the day my father passed away, I got a phone call, and I know who the phone call was from. I know the conversation that we had. I know what happened directly after that phone call. I know the very next song that I listened to after I found out my father passed away. What I don't remember is what day of the week it was. I don't remember that at all.
Right.
I don't remember if I went to go see my mom that night or if I waited until the next morning. I literally don't remember. This happened, Tom, less than 10 years ago.
Right.
And I don't remember those pieces of that at all. I don't remember if I went home and drove straight down or if I stayed the night at my house and then drove down in the morning. I don't remember. I don't remember what I said to my wife afterwards. It was a traumatic moment for me. So some things are seared into my memory. Other things are not. That's how memory works, it turns out. You don't remember everything perfectly crystal clear, every single thing, like what the person was wearing, the way they did this, and you know how they interact. Like, you don't remember all that stuff.
Right.
But the thing is, we want to put her memory on trial for this, as if like she should have a perfectly photographic memory.
Not only are we putting her memory on trial for this, we're putting her memory on trial from when she was in high school.
Yeah, long time ago.
From a time period where her brain wasn't done forming into an adult brain.
And
right?
30 years ago. Yeah.
It's decades ago where, you know, you're in a different cognitive place. You just suffered a trauma. And like, it's not like you can choose like, oh, that was fucked up. I should, that's what I'm going to commit to. We don't get to choose what we remember.
Yeah.
We don't have that option. Like, it doesn't speak to the veracity of something just because we missed a detail here or there.
Yeah.
That's just, it doesn't speak in either direction to the veracity,
either way,
right?
Either way.
And so it's a meaningless line of questioning.
Yeah.
And it's like real easy to do when you're not the one who suffered a trauma, right?
Yeah, it's super easy.
Here's what I would have done if I were traumatized. Yep. Oh yeah, were you fucking traumatized?
It's exactly like if I was there, I'd have beat that guy up.
It's exactly that.
Right. It's just that. You're like, okay, great, man. Go live in your fucking Charles Bronson jerk-off fantasy all day. I have no time for that.
Right.
But the other thing too that happened is Brett Kavanaugh, of course, he gave his side of testimony. He was heated and upset. He was very angry. Raising his voice. At one point, he tries to talk about how he is, he basically says, he believes that that she was assaulted.
Right.
But at the same time, he accuses the Clintons of revenge. And you're like, oh, I don't know how those two things interact. I don't know how they work. Because you can't say one, if you're saying they're out for revenge on me, then everything she said is made up.
Yeah. It's right. Like, why would you go through, if you were the Clintons and you were making this all up, why would you go through and find an actual sexual assault survivor? And then just like, okay, we've replaced your real assault assailant with this judge. Let's see if she notices. Like, it's not.
I love that
there's Sanka.
I also love that there's people out there that are so upset about political policies that they're willing to literally ruin their entire life over.
Yeah, can we talk about like, because that is a argument, and we talked before the show. That's an argument that people are making, right? Is that like the politics have gotten so heated. This Supreme Court nomination is so important. And I agree. It is so important to the future of this country. We're fucked. It's going to happen tomorrow. But like, it is very important. It's going to shape our policy for generations to come. So people are saying that is enough to drive certain people into creating a false narrative, right?
Sure.
So that's the thing, right? But like, think about what this woman is going to have to live through.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Now, this is a woman who's, she is a target on her back for the rest of her life. She is always going to be harassed. Like, we all still remember Anita Hill. We will remember Dr. Ford.
Yeah.
A generation from now,
Absolutely.
we will remember this woman.
Absolutely.
People will harass this woman at the fucking grocery store till the end of her fucking days. And for what? And we talked before, like, it's not like this just appeared out of thin air. The sexual assault was discussed by her with her therapist 6 years before.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fucking long game.
Yeah.
That's a real long game,
plan.
right?
You got to plan at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, what if he does get nominated? I want to make sure that I'm in a position to torpedo that nomination.
Sure.
In the eventuality that more than half a decade from now, it maybe possibly occurs.
Right. Yeah.
That's so Machiavellian. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Only George Soros could pull that off.
That's like a Joker level of planning ahead to know the 6 different fucking degrees of Kevin Bacon you have to be in order to fucking plan that out.
The 10-day weather forecast isn't reliable. We have a 6-day Supreme.
Going back to Soros, though, we need that weather machine. That's going
true.
Back to Soros. I mean,
we got to get it. We got to get it from Trump. He's got hold of it.
Soros. Yeah, I like, and then the other problem that was, that they were talking about was what I felt were distractions. Right? He's talking about his, this calendar that he wrote down when he was a kid, and that is a thing that they kept on coming back to in this testimony. I'm just like, it's something he wrote down. Who cares? Like, it's not, like you said earlier, it's not an exhaustive list of places he was. It's not a fucking, it's not CCTV. It doesn't follow him around, know exactly where he was. It's not a GPS system on his phone.
It's not an independently verified third-party system. It's like he notarized every location he attended.
It's just a fucking piece of paper he wrote on, man.
Well, we were talking before, like, I have, like, my phone is my calendar. My phone is ridiculous. My phone tells me when I need to stop and get gas so that I remember to get gas. But if I get gas on a day that is not in my calendar to get gas, I don't change my calendar.
You would,
right?
Yeah.
Like, you, as a teenage person in high school, if you got invited to something, you might just go to it. You would be like, oh, guys, I can only go if I calendar this. Hang on a second. Then nobody does that.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. It's literally meaningless unless you can somehow say 100% of every activity that every social event you've ever gone to appears without fail in this calendar. That's a fucking silly thing to say.
That's a silly thing to say. I do think that there are some ways that he could have said, he could have come in and I think won everybody over by saying, I can't believe what Dr. Ford has gone through. This is unbelievable. The trauma that she must have suffered in her young life to shape her throughout her whole life and change her is unbelievable. I never sexually assaulted her. I never did anything to her, but I recognize that she is a victim of sexual assault by someone. So I just want to say, she's the type of person who people should look up to. And, I think if he would have came in and said that, and like not come in with guns blazing and screaming and yelling and being super mad about the whole process and being like, my family's gone through hell.
Okay.
And then man crying about his dad fucking filling out a calendar. I think it would have totally been a different story.
Yeah.
Just being a little bit empathetic. And it would have been, and he did say those things, but it never came off like he meant them.
He said them bitterly.
He said, he kind of bitterly said it.
He said them very bitterly.
So I just like when he's doing this, I'm just like, God, you couldn't fuck this up more.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to change anything. I'm just saying he looks like an idiot.
At the end of the day, here's what happens. The people who already don't care are going to not care tomorrow.
Yeah.
And those people didn't, like, they're the majority. It's a simple majority. They're going to vote. They're going to vote. I don't care. I want my guy who will vote on the things that I want him to vote on.
He's the one I want.
I want to give him that job. They've already decided. The other thing, too, is like politically, it would be so damning to get somebody all the way through the nomination confirmation process and then have your own party reject that person. The Republicans get somebody all the way into the nomination and confirmation process, and then their own party refuses to confirm that person.
Yeah.
It makes them look weak. They can't afford to look weak, especially in the climate leading up to the midterms.
Sure.
They can't afford this political loss. So it's going to happen. They want this guy because at the end of the day, they don't care who he is as a person. What they care about is that he will make the decisions that they want him to make.
Yeah.
They're hiring for a job.
Yep.
And they know this guy is going to fucking pull the levers in the order I want my levers pulled. And that's all all this process matters about.
Yeah.
He's getting confirmed tomorrow. And the other thing that happens is this woman's life is fucking garbage.
This woman's life is absolutely ruined.
Those two things are just true.
Absolutely ruined. They kept on talking about this FBI investigation. A bunch of people brought it up. They brought up the FBI investigation many, many times. Well, what's the big deal about an FBI investigation? FBI investigation, lying to FBI is a crime. Mm-hmm. But an FBI investigation, they said so in the hearing that the FBI investigation would not produce a result. They would just give you the investigation. They would give you the data that they collected. But what the FBI investigation does do, and we also looked up that perjury to the Senate is a criminal offense. Right. So it's the same thing. But they're not conducting an investigation. That's the thing, is it's like they're doing a magic trick on us, right? They're saying, well, here we are right now where you can ask me any questions you want. Yeah, I can ask you any questions, but I can't corroborate anything else that anybody else says with any teeth that is not in this room. Those people that were involved in this years and years and years ago, I can't ask them any questions because they're not here. And if the FBI asks them questions and they lie about it, then it's a big deal.
Well, and the FBI gets more than 5 minutes a pop to ask questions.
Absolutely,
You know, and I think importantly, they can go and talk to that judge guy, right? And they can say, hey, man, you can't lie about this. Yeah. We're the FBI. Yeah.
And then you get a chance to talk to him, not just read his prepared statement, which is a totally different thing.
Right. Yep.
And they're making it seem like, oh, well, the FBI investigation won't do anything. Oh, well, this is just as good as an FBI investigation. It's not. It's not at all. If you're really the guy who is 100%, I fucking did not do this, then fucking bring the FBI, bring the CIA, bring fucking the NSA. Let's get this on.
Right. You know, you and I have been friends forever. So like, if somebody accused either one of us of something and was like, yeah, Cecil was there when Tom did this terrible thing, like you would come running.
Of course.
You would come,
of course.
And I would do like,
you do the same thing.
There's no world where it's like I'd be on the steps of every building you're in and being like, I was supposed to have been there and that did not happen.
And you and I can each categorically say for the other person, you've never raped anybody with me in the room, right? You've never raped anybody with me in the room. And you can categorically say the same thing
to say.
I've never raped anybody with you in the room.
Right.
Now, that's happened outside of those rooms. But that is moment. That is between me and Justice Kavanaugh, okay? He got a little handsy. That's all I'm saying. But in any case, like you can categorically say.
He shouldn't have been wearing those judge robes if he didn't want it.
Tell you what, I have that lace doiler on my neck and he can't control himself. He just can't control himself. He's like, Ruth, is that you? But you know, you can categorically say that. And why isn't this guy running to help out his friend? Why wouldn't this guy want to be interviewed by the FBI or be interviewed by the Senate?
And the thing is, like, you would do it for even somebody you hated.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would, like, if I knew something didn't happen and I saw somebody being accused, It could be somebody I fucking loathe.
Of course.
And I'd be like, all right, but that's still not right.
Yeah.
You have a moral obligation. That these things aren't happening doesn't play well. Yeah. Right?
It doesn't.
And I think it doesn't play well, and it's not happening because this is all political theater.
Yep.
None of this matters.
Yep.
I think I want to be really, really clear. None of this matters. None of it matters. It didn't matter in the beginning. It didn't matter at the end. It won't matter tomorrow. When this guy is a Supreme Court justice, it's fucking not going to matter. This is all just theater. It's all grandstanding. And at the end of the day, the only thing that happens is this woman's life is fucking altered.
Yeah.
And this not for the better.
This guy's still a Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
Everything else that goes on, the Democrats still hate the Republicans still hate the Democrats. Yeah. And this woman gets to go back to a shattered life.
Trumpy, you can do stupid things.
All right, so this story's from The Guardian. The strangest moments from Donald Trump's UN press conference.
Let's just watch the video, Tom. I'll pause it after each comment, and we can have a little discussion about it.
That China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
It just plays itself. I love it. It just plays itself.
A brain. My very large brain.
He can't even talk about himself in the first person. You know somebody. Look, hey, this rule is always right.
Yeah.
Anybody that talks about themselves in the third person is the worst person.
They're isn't. I can't think of anybody who.
It is 100% douchebaggery.
Yeah.
It's simply like it's Jersey Shore shit.
It is.
The situation. Don't know about the situation.
It's Bob Dole stuff. Bob Dole doesn't know how to hold a pencil. Not in one hand, anyway.
I love too that he was like, my big pause and search for the word.
And then he's like, a brain. I like that he doesn't say brain either. He says a brain. I want to hear it again. Actually.
I want to hear it.
That China has total respect for Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
A brain. My brain is so big.
That's fucking amazing.
It's a big, because the size of your brain is what makes you smart. I don't know how brains work.
It's the size of your brain. Those hydrocephalus kids, geniuses,
amazing,
mad geniuses, unbelievable. Those kids.
I have an enormous a brain.
It's enormous, big, giant brain.
I love too that when he's talking about his big brain, he uses "big" a 3-letter child adjective.
Yeah. It's like the first thing you learn. Amazing.
Why has President Trump given so much to North Korea? I said, if I wasn't elected, you would have had a war. President Obama thought you had to go to war. You know how close he was to pressing the trigger for war?
There's no war trigger.
Pressing the trigger for war.
First of all, can we pause? Don't you pull triggers?
No, you do pull triggers. You do pull triggers. You do pull triggers.
So he's just pressing at a trigger doesn't work. I got a huge...
He's pressing it forward. God damn it, I want to go to war, people.
Where's the war trigger? Huh? That's not how...
Pressing the trigger.
Part of me wonders if, the generals don't, give him fake stuff. Don't press the war trigger, Donald. And he's got, this fake war trigger that he thinks if he presses it.
It's got a giant... And it's just the outer casing and the trigger on a housing, and that's it.
It's lots of wires and light bulbs and stuff attached to it.
What is that, trigger guard? Is that what the thing is? And then the trigger, and that's it. But it's huge. It's got to be the size of his forearm. It's got to be huge. Huge.
We're not doing well. Let me call the Russians to help. We have pictures of President Trump. Whoa, where can I get them? Wow, that's a lot of hands.
He seriously is.
Now, these are cuts. I just want to point out, these are cuts. So we are cutting each time he says something new. There's a cut that they're cutting to the tape. But the stuff he is saying.
There's never been a president that did imitation mockery.
Right. Before.
That is. And that's
a new level.
That's because middle schoolers stop doing that because they recognize that that's fucking child shit. Yeah. Middle schoolers.
Right.
Won't do that anymore.
It's the horty-dorty stuff.
It is.
Yeah. Where you're just like, oh, yeah, we don't do that anymore.
He made, like, you guys can't see, but he made a silly voice.
Yeah.
And he made a silly face. He's like, oh, reporters are like this. I write stuff down. I have a pen and paper. Like, it's Democrats are like this.
Yeah. He's like doing like the duck motion. He's like walking across.
Oh, I'm a Democrat. I have poopy pants. He's the least presidential human being. Why is he? I'm Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm so old. Oh.
Could you imagine though? This would be the best president show ever. Like fuck Veep, fuck West Wing. Have a show where the guy was basically Billy Madison. Yeah. Billy Madison as president. Could you? I mean, like, fucking. That's what it is now.
Yeah, this is a guy.
That's what it is now. But I'm saying, like, let's make it fiction. Let's not make it reality.
So I don't cry.
Let's make it fiction, Tom.
Yeah, because I carry a razor blade for eventualities
if it's
slitting
fiction.
my wrist. Yeah,
but it's not.
This is a fiction. I'm going to wake up. I am going to wake up, and oh, look at me! I'm going to wake up one day.
You're with who?
Hannah Thomas Peter from Sky News.
Okay, good. Sky News.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Congratulations on the purchase.
Nothing to do with me.
I hope you benefited. Yeah, you. Guy looks like he's shocked. That's not. This is going to be not good.
It's going to be good.
The guy looks totally like stunned. Have you ever been picked before for a question? Excuse me. You said where? From where?
Rudal Media Network from Kurdistan region, north of Iraq. I'm a Kurd.
Good. Good.
Sir,
great people.
Thank you, sir.
Great
Mr.
people.
Mr. President,
thank you. Are you a Kurd?
Mr. President.
Good. They're great people.
He's not even paying attention to the guy with the microphone talking. He like looks away.
Mr. President, are you a Kurd? Who's Kurdish in here?
Are there any other black people?
Does anybody have any lemon curd? 'Cause I love lemon curd. Not as much as I like chocolate cake. A huge piece of chocolate cake.
Like the guy's gonna throw his shoe at Trump to get his attention.
They're great fighters. I like them a lot. Let's go. I like this question so far. Yes, please, Mr. Kurd. New York.
Mr. Kurd.
That name again is Mr. Kurd. Mr. Kurd. Holy shit. You, Mr. Negro.
You know what? I'll take one from the Jew. Let me get one from the Jew. Mr. Jew? Or is it
Mr. Dago? You over there.
That's unbelievable.
Mr. Kurd.
This guy is the goddamn... Mr.
Kurd. He's a trend. Mr. Kurd.
New York Times. Come on, New York Times. The failing New York Times. Stand up. Go ahead. I like President Xi a lot. I think he's a friend of mine. He may not be a friend of mine anymore, but I think he probably respects, from what I hear.
You were talking about...
He can't even... That's not even a sentence, man. I want somebody to diagram that sentence. So here's the thing, audience. Here's what I want you to do. I'm going to play this clip again about President Xi. I'm going to play the clip again about President Xi. You guys diagram this sentence.
I like President Xi a lot. I think he's a friend of mine. He may not be a friend of mine anymore, but I think he probably respects, from what I hear.
Okay. Okay. Whoever is out there that knows the English language, I would love to see a diagram of that sentence. It's going to be a target, right? Is that once you're finished, it's a target and then you shoot yourself through it? Is that how it works?
That's the only option to try to understand it. You could fucking put that thing in a gun and shoot it into my brain, and I still could. My brain's not big enough. So.
No, a brain.
Probably respects, from what I hear.
You were talking about your administration's accomplishments at the United Nations, and a lot of the leaders laughed.
Well, that's fake news.
And what was that experience like?
It's fake news. And it was covered that way. Okay. They weren't laughing at me. They were laughing with me. We had fun. When you say, does it affect me in terms of my thinking with respect to Judge Kavanaugh? Absolutely, because I've had it many times. When I see it, I view it differently than somebody sitting home watching television where they say, oh, Judge Kavanaugh, this or that. It's happened to me many times. I've had many false charges. If we brought George Washington here and we said, we have George Washington, the Democrats would vote against him, just so you understand. And he may have had a bad past. Who knows? He may have had some... I think accusations made. Didn't he have a couple of things in his past?
Wait. Are we disparaging George Washington?
I think he started to, so what he's doing, I think, in that particular instance is he says something and then he reads the room and people are like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then they start laughing about it because they're nervous laughter. But then he thinks he might have said something that was wrong. So instead, now he's treating it as a sarcastic comment rather than a regular comment.
So he's just changing tone mid-stride?
He's just changing tone, I think, mid-stride to sort of say, no, I was being sarcastic the whole time. I think that's what he's doing. If you listen to that, I think that's what it feels like to me.
Isn't he also saying with that comment, though, like, even our heroes are scumbags?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that like,
I think so.
If you look at, isn't he sort of suggesting that if you look into anybody's past, you'll find somebody raped? Look, hey, come on.
Look,
if you were power, you probably raped somebody.
You got two choices. It's either you rape somebody or wooden teeth. Those are your two options.
God.
Maybe
That's
both.
fucking crazy.
Maybe both.
He's like, yeah, lots of times it happens to me. You were on TV talking about sexually assaulting women.
I know, right?
Like, it happens to you because you sexually assault women.
You kind of had to be involved in that.
By your own fucking admission.
Huge brain.
Have a couple of things in his past. Always like to finish with a good one. Elton John said, when you hit that last tune and it's good, don't go back.
Well, let me ask you.
Have you ever seen? They do great. They're great. They hit the last tune. Everyone goes crazy. Then they go back.
He just is insane. That man is insane. He might be the worst public speaker of all time.
He's so bad. He's so bad.
Does he complete a single thought without interrupting himself?
He doesn't very often.
I get upset when I get interrupted. Like if I'm trying to make a point and I get interrupted, because I think it's rude. If I interrupted myself that much, I would be upset with me. I would take myself outside for a stern talking to.
Right.
About manners.
Right. And it almost feels like he's wasting time too. Like he's stalling for time because he knows he has an hour and he's making jokes, and not funny jokes, but jokes nonetheless.
He is absolutely in love with himself.
And one of the things that they talk about specifically in this is the speech he gives at the United Nations. And I want to play a clip of that because you can hear the people in the audience and how they react to him.
Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, world leaders, ambassadors, and distinguished delegates. 1 year ago, I stood before you for the first time in this grand hall.
You were as disgusted then as you are now.
Yeah. All of you, most of you threw up in the back row.
Several of you looked around in abject disbelief that this was actually our new reality.
And many of you that got a whiff of me smelled my musk.
I addressed the threats facing our world, and I presented a vision to achieve a brighter future for all of humanity.
As long as you're rich and you live in my country.
And you're not from a shithole country.
But if you live anywhere else, or if you're poor and you're from my country, or if you're poor and you're trying to get into my country, you're fucked.
Or if you're a woman in my country.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so really about 3%. It's about the top 3%.
Top 3%.
Of heterosexual rich white guys.
Today I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country.
Okay, they're laughing. You can hear them. There's a chuckle that's running through them. Now, you also have to understand that some of these people are on delay. They're getting a translation, so they're not
just like, that wasn't out loud.
America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
You know, like, he handles it really, really well.
Gotta say he handles it really well.
Yeah.
He handles it well, but they are laughing at him.
But the world just laughed in your face.
They're laughing at him.
You know, like, I remember when people were, they opposed Obama, right? And they said, oh, you know, Obama's going to make us the laughing stock of the world, right? And that Obama's not a strong leader, that he will not be taken seriously. He was given a Nobel Peace Prize almost immediately, and the world loved and received him, especially after the debacle of W.
Absolutely.
The world received him very, very well. And like, he just got laughed at by Earth, right?
Yeah.
Like the leaders of Earth were like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You've done literally nothing good ever. And like they laughed at him. And then he says, like, that's not what I was expecting. And I kind of be like, do you not know that like most of America didn't want you? You lost. The popular vote, you lost. Most of us here didn't want you. The world is not in favor of you. Is he that obtuse? Do you think?
I think he surrounds himself with yes men. I think he watches only things that confirm his bias, and the things he does on occasion that go past his face or his ears, or that are told to him that are negative, he treats as people that are trying to detract from him. This is clearly narcissism on his part, because if you watch all the things that he's done in the past, every time it's an attack on his policies, he takes it personally. Right? It's a personal attack against him.
It's fake news.
It's a personal attack.
Right.
And so he's taking it every time. So he never separates himself from those things. And so I think he's way too fragile to he can't withstand the damage of everybody in the world basically being. So he's just going to say, "Oh, this is an anomaly. These are not." He's going to say it's an anomaly.
Right. It's an anomaly when the world leaders gather together to mock the fact that I said I've accomplished things.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that for a moment. Like, I've done a lot of good things in my country. What? Oh.
It'd be like
maybe nobody likes the things I'm doing.
It'd be like if one of the dictators got up there that had murdered a bunch of people and said, "I am, human rights." If Kim Jong-un came up and said, we are very strict with our human rights in our country, and we're humanitarian aid is constant. We make sure that all human beings have a right to exist and live and prosper. People would laugh their ass off. They would be like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
Right.
You have 3 generations in a fucking concentration camp. Are you kidding?"
This is a dude with a micro penis that has been told his whole life that he's a porn star.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he just like unveiled it and everyone's like, "Wait, what is that? What?"
That's adorable.
That's a toadstool, as it turns out.
A toadstool with a Yeti head beard or something, she said. A toadstool with a Yeti beard.
Oh, God.
We're talking earlier about things that are seared into your memory, like Ford. Can you imagine being Stormy Daniels and having that seared into your memory?
I love it when she describes
how do you eat stuffed portobellos after that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you do it?
She thought it'd be better. She thought he was a fun guy.
Yeah, he was. He was. He was $130,000 worth of fun. That's a pretty good though.
Like.
That's pretty good money. That's good.
130 grand for 7 minutes worth of work.
Yeah. Good return on your investment.
Yeah.
I still love that.
I let him fuck me for 7 minutes or whatever.
I still love that fictional account of him pretending to the person who said he called up and said, "I would like little pizzas on the pizza."
Oh my God. Yeah. That's so funny.
That's so great. And that's just perfect. That's just, "I'm going to eat little pizzas on the pizza." Like, oh, it's so amazing. That would be the perfect. When they get Adam Sandler to play him in a movie.
In his biopic?
Yeah. It's going to be Adam Sandler's greatest role. Adam Sandler. You're a stupid head. You are.
Ready to stick it in the glory hole? Get links to their Facebook, Twitter, and if you still use it, Google Plus account at their website, dissonancepod.com. If you need to be all discreet about it, contact them by email at dissonance.podcast@gmail.com. Or you can call and leave a ransom message at 740-74-DOUBT. That's 740-743-6828. Want to hear Cognitive Dissonance commercial free and gain access to exclusive content, including full patron-only shows? Head to patreon.com/dissonancepod and become a patron to support the show on a per-episode basis. Love commercials? Not ready to become a patron? Give the guys a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher. Or tell your buddies in the drunk tank about the show. We want to send a big sloppy glory hole to all the patrons and people who rate us. You fucking rock.
Okay, Cecil.
Yeah.
I know the year is not over.
I know.
I know it's not.
This is
I know.
an amazing story.
But I love this story. Yeah. Like I love my family. I love this story. In maybe
amounts.
reverse order. This is from The Guardian. And I had to double check, like, is this
real? Yeah.
Is this real?
No. When I read it too, I was like, what the fuck? Because it's all over the place.
So I'm going to make this a talkie. I'm going to read this story and we will come because this is just perfect. Demons and Armageddon. Details emerge in naked kidnapping case. A group of 5 who kidnapped 3 people and crashed their car believed they were escaping the end of the world and faced imminent danger. 3 people who were arrested naked by Canadian police after kidnapping their neighbors and crashing their car into another vehicle were Jehovah's Witnesses who believed that they were escaping the end of the world, according to court documents.
What? When they call them up in court, will they call a Jehovah's Witness to the stand? Is that what's going to happen? I would like to call Jehovah to the witness stand.
In a plea document obtained by the Canadian press, 2 women and a man admitted to kidnapping 3 people in the western province of Alberta last year, which brought a degree of clarity to the bizarre incident last November. I got to say, like, when you agree that, yeah, I kidnapped 3 people and that brings clarity to the situation.
Like, oh, geez, that clears it all up. Thank you.
That situation is fucked, right? This I also like. One of the women also pleaded guilty to dangerous driving. Well, that's important.
Oh, okay.
The traffic ticket you stacked on the end of this thing. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police launched their investigation after they were called to the scene of a car crash in an industrial park in Nisku, south of Edmonton. They arrived to find a white BMW that had collided with a truck. Inside were 5 people, 4 of them naked, despite the centimeters of snow on the ground and temperatures that hovered around 14 degrees.
4 naked people. You walk up to that car as the cop. You just go, nope. And then you turn around and you walk away. You're like, nope, I'm done. I'm good. No, I'm calling in Bill. This is Bill's. I don't want to write up the paperwork for this one.
How weird is it when you're the one wearing clothes in the car? You're like, come on, let me take off my pants too.
You're the prude.
Keep your pants on. No one wants to see you. That's just mean. It's not a toadstool.
Well, it's a toadstool surrounded by Yeti hair. What do you want?
According to the plea document, the episode had begun several days earlier when one of the women took her 2 teenage daughters to visit her 27-year-old nephew and his 30-year-old wife, who lived in Luddock, Alberta.
Wait, hold on. So you're sitting in the car naked with your nephew and his wife and your daughters?
Yeah, and your 2 teenage daughters. Well, this will all come. Clarity will arrive.
It's not even warm out. Like, I mean, I can understand if, like, you're fleeing a nudist colony or it's really, really hot out or something.
And you're like, I gotta run.
And everybody's just like,
pants are just gonna slow me down.
I'm so warm. And everybody's like, I'm real warm too.
This is the start of a movie.
This is the start of a movie.
After 3 days at the house, during which the group barely ate, why? They came to believe that they had lived through the Great Tribulation, a period of suffering which some evangelical Christians believe heralds the second coming.
Hey, now, that's why they're all naked.
That's why they were,
So,
believing they were in imminent danger, the group fled the house. But in their haste, none of the family except the mother managed to get dressed.
Okay, no, it's even worse than I thought before. Before I was just like, oh, they're just in the car naked. No, they were hanging out in the house naked.
Thank
you. For a while.
Yeah.
Clearly long enough to be surprised enough to not get dressed.
It's a quote. 4 who were naked were changing, but they had to leave right away because it was unsafe. So they left without clothes.
No, they were not.
So they're all
simultaneously changing.
Let's all change. We'll all be in the exact same state of undress at the same time.
And go.
I know, right?
It's a race.
Okay, and we have one. It's like you're playing like musical clothes. There's like one set of clothes. And like mom gets it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they're playing Truth or Dare, and the mom is just baller at it. She's just like, no, nobody's ever getting my clothes off. I'm all daring all day.
I want to know, like, what in that room changed, or house. I don't know. Like, what changed from moment 1 to moment 2, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get changed. Oh God, the tribulation.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. It's at the end of the article, they say it was maybe hallucinogenic tea.
Oh, well, imagine that.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, no, that's probably what it was.
So the group piled into a BMW SUV, which the mother drove through the garage door to make their escape. They're just like, fuck it, we don't have time to open the garage. Smash up their escape vehicle. I love too, they're going to drive away from Revelation.
Yeah, they're going to hurriedly.
We got to get to exit 9.
Guys, we've got a jog walk here.
But then they decided they needed to rescue the neighbors from God. They forced a man into the trunk of their vehicle and made his adult daughter and her baby climb into the back seat.
Okay, wait. Now this just screams unprepared. They're not dressed. They don't even they don't even lift the garage door. They go next door and they have to stuff a guy in the trunk. Like, these people are the least prepared people ever. You are not ready for the end of the world. You are not ready. You are not a prepper.
I was going to say, these are anti-preppers. Can you imagine, like, you're at home and, like, 4 people rush your house naked in a panic and shove your dad into their car. And they're like, get in! God's coming! Be like, I'll stay here. You can keep dad or whatever.
So I got a question for you. Yeah. Let's say you got a bunch of those Jim Baker buckets at your home. You're waiting for the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people come over and they eat all your buckets. You know what those people are? Stuffed preppers. That is such a dad joke. That's amazing.
It's so bad.
Stuffed preppers. Delicious.
Oh my
God. You cook those right in a bucket. Yes.
All right. They did so because they believed they were in danger, either from bad or wicked people outside or from demons.
Or from demons. Let's not rule things out, Tom.
The BMW then raced down the highway, blasting through a red light as its occupants chanted Jehovah over and over. Again, imagine you're one of the kidnapped dudes.
I will tell you, man.
It's amazing.
This would be the best movie I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. First, it would be a great made-for-TV movie after school. It would be an amazing Netflix series. It would be awesome on Pornhub. I don't care what. I literally don't care what medium you show this to me. I think it would kill.
According to the document, the 3 neighbors managed to escape when the SUV slowed down and flagged down a passing truck. Quote, it's the middle of the winter and people are running around with no shoes on. You stopped to help them, said Derek Scott, the truck's driver. The neighbors climbed aboard the truck, but the relief was short-lived. The SUV rammed Scott's truck, and both vehicles ended up in a snow-filled ditch.
Jesus Christ.
When police responded to the accident, they faced a group who, quote, displayed extreme strength and refused to leave.
These guys are on PCP, man, or
They're
whatever.
fucked.
They're so wasted.
According to the court document, one of the teens believed the officers were, quote, monsters who would kill them. No word on whether they were in America and the teen was black. Police eventually resorted to using a combination of pepper spray and tasers to subdue and arrest the passengers.
Yeah, they're screaming like, keep the poison-spitting electricity monsters away from me. You answered your previous question, though, because that line would have said, and they were shot to death in America.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, you answer your own question. They used non-lethal means in order to subdue them. So, no, they're not in America.
No. Cops would have been like, bomb the SUV.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any, can we just explode? Can we just shoot it off into space?
At the time, police suspected drugs or alcohol might have been a factor in the incident. Yeah. The father of the two teens,
bang up police work there, buddy.
Right? Told investigators that he fears the group might have consumed a hallucinogenic tea.
Yeah, that sounds likely.
They probably consumed all of the hallucinogens.
It sounds like they did bath salts, man. What the fuck?
It's a Marxist, communist, psychological warfare operation. I assure you, the man behind all of it is Barack Hussein Obama, America's chief street organizer, rabble-rouser, troublemaker. He's behind this stuff.
This story's from Right Wing Watch. Blasey Ford, quote, involved in mind control programs, says Dave Janda and his obviously reliable sources.
Now, Right Wing Watch, you're getting a little snarky here. Let's play this. This is a clip from Dave Janda. This is a right-wing radio host, Dave Janda, appeared on Greg Hunter's USA Watchdog program. So here we go.
There's also some information, and 2 of my sources have said, yes, this is correct. One of my sources says they cannot confirm this. But there's this information out there that she has worked as a CIA contractor.
He's talking about Ford here. Has worked as a CIA contractor
in the past and possibly even to the present.
Doing what?
Why would you have sources? Who are you that you have sources?
I know, right?
According to my sources, that's your dog. You're talking to your dog. You made this up. Who the fuck has sources?
Reportedly was involved in the mind control program.
Oh, the mind control program.
Well, clearly she got to one of your sources who didn't know anything about everything. Good God, man. She's already got to one of them.
She's just got the Men in Black flashing pen that just
she's walking through the hearings today. Thump, 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 thump.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
If you were in the mind control program, why would anyone ever know you were in the mind control program?
They would all just be like, she makes a great bunt cake. That's what they would say. They would never say anything with you and mind control in the same
sentence. These would never be the droids you're looking for.
Exactly.
When I spoke to my sources about threats of violence in these texts, that this is what I had heard, and they said they confirmed it. They said that there are.
I checked these internet rumors with other people on the internet.
That's exactly it, dude.
And some other people
sources is cute.
Right.
It's 4chan. It's some board or something.
It's like he heard it. He heard this shit from random internet trolls. Yeah. And then he checked with another random internet troll who says, I'm totally not a random internet troll. I'm a fucking Navy SEAL and I'll beat up your mom. Like,
are you fucking talking to me, bro?
There is significant harm directed at Trump in these texts.
We're talking about harm like they want to knock him off. They want to kill him.
I don't know the exact wording. I haven't heard the exact wording. All I have heard and all I know is that I was told that there was violence that was directed toward Trump. I have been told that military tribunals are not just going to happen, they have been in place and they have been operational is the word I was told.
If military tribunals are happening, which is what everybody's been talking about now recently, that's the big thing. That's the big thing that people, there was one I saw with Liz Crokin. It said military tribunals, a bunch of other people, that one crazy firefighter guy said
Mark
last
Taylor,
week. They're all talking about military tribunals as a way to execute people, as a way to try and execute people sort of off the record.
I don't understand why you would ever have an off the record trial.
Right.
A trial is a justice proceeding. If you're just going to kill people,
why
you're like a secret shadow cabal.
You don't even need it.
Just kill the people you don't like.
Just be like, do you like me? Check yes or no.
Right.
And then you die.
It seems like a weird, unnecessary step.
It's like you're rubbing it in or something.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a trial, but you don't get to defend yourself. And afterwards, we're going to kill you.
And we've already made our decision.
Right. Can we skip it? No. We want this to be officially not official. What the fuck? What? We just,
Already going on. They're already taking people to task in military tribunals.
That is my understanding from my sources that I trust. And
I trust literally everyone.
No kidding.
I trust everyone.
All of Twitter, all of 4chan, all of Reddit. Did I miss anyone? No.
8chan?
That's all of them. That's everybody.
And what I was also told is that this declassification will ultimately lead to the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, to, at least on a partial basis, if not complete basis, to unrecuse himself.
And then he's going to re-recuse himself, and then he's going to recuse himself, and then unrecuse himself, and eventually he's going to be an Ouroboros, and he's going to have to eat his own tail.
How would that even work? I excuse my recuse. I accuse my recuse of excuse. No, I don't know. I'm going home.
You know how it works is you put your left foot in and then you put your left foot out.
Yeah, I think he might have tried to institute a conversation with Trump trying to...
tried to institute a conversation.
He's talking, when he says that, might have tried to answer. He's talking, because I did hear this earlier, he's actually talking about Obama here. So he switched gears and now he's talking about Obama.
Can we talk about the way this guy speaks? Like, he speaks in a way that, like, somebody who does not understand formality and language is like, these are words and I put them together completely wrong mostly always, let's institute a conversation about it. What? That's exactly the wrong word.
He's like a grade school kid that has to write a formal memo for the first time.
Yeah.
And then he types it all up and hands it in. That's what it feels like.
I work with people that try to write formally from time to time that just don't have enough facility with the language to do it. And I hand it back. I'm like, you can't send this. You can't send this to people. Like, anyone that reads this is going to think you're a fucking idiot and you don't know what you're talking about.
Or you're doing the needful, right? You're from a different country or something.
Yeah.
This is not your first language.
This sounds like your seventh language. And the first 6 were all practice.
It sounds like your 7th language on Duolingo.
Right.
Protect himself.
And what happened?
I don't. The word I heard is I don't think it went well for Obama.
Hold on. We're breaking a little news here. You're telling me, if I get this right, that your sources say Barack Obama reached out to Donald Trump and said, we need to talk about this failed coup, basically. And Trump told him, you can go, take a walk? Is that what you're telling me?
I have one source that told me that Obama had reached out to Trump about a meeting and that the meeting did not go well for Obama.
Oh, we did have a meeting.
I'm just telling what I was told.
Why can't we get that guy on? Why do we have to get? Why do we have to get mouthpiece Magoo
You
here?
have to get this guy who has he has one iPhone earpiece in. Like, it's like the cheapest fucking setup you've ever seen for any studio guy in your life.
He's in his grandma's living room.
I know. There's still like fucking plastic on the couch behind him.
Do you think he's got that in so he looks like a fake Secret Service agent or something?
His granny's called in the room. Don't you drink chocolate milk on my couch?
I made ants out of log. David, do you want some ants out of log?
Ants out of log. I love it. I gotta go.
Grandma's my source.
Sorry, my source is telling me I have ants on a log. I'm out of here.
I gotta take a bath at 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock already. I gotta go.
That's told.
And you're saying that he did have a meeting with Obama, who's trying to save himself.
It was my understanding that Obama had reached out to Trump. This is what I was told. And was
tried to institute a conversation.
Trying to not cut a deal, but, well, maybe cut a deal. And that Trump is firmly in the camp of restitution of the rule of law, no matter who it involves.
Unless it's him, of course.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And the Russians.
Because when I think Trump, I think that's a guy who's interested in the rule of law.
When I think Trump, I think fair. That's what I think.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
It's a story from Right Wing Watch. Gordon Klingenschmitt decries the homosexualization of Bert and Ernie.
All right,
this is going to be amazing.
This is Gordon.
The puppets are simply puppets. They are not perverse.
Gordon, you can fuck a puppet. Don't ask me how I know that, but you can fuck a puppet. I don't want to get into it, but
wait, if you fuck the puppet, is the puppet perverse or are you perverse?
You can definitely fuck a puppet. And it's way better. We've talked about this before, but it's way better when they have googly eyes.
Well,
like, it's way better.
That's a requirement.
Because then one eye's going this way and the other eye's going the other way.
He can make
it's like fucking someone with a lazy eye. I mean, it's just awesome.
The dream.
That's awesome. That is the dream. Thank you very much.
And I think Mark Saltzman, I mean, if we were to take a moment and discern the spirits here, Mark Saltzman.
Oh, let's take a moment and discern the spirits.
Please, let's do it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to give myself time for that.
I was busy discerning this puppet over here, but you want to do the spirits, I'm down.
By projecting his own sexuality upon beloved children's puppets is actually trying to recruit children into his perverse lifestyle so that he can...
Nobody sucks a dick because the creator of a puppet show based the relationship of those puppets on his relationship with a partner. Nobody's like, you know what? Pussy's gross.
Yeah.
because fucking that unibrow puppet over there is in love with his best friend.
Yeah, nobody ever sucked a dick because they're like, well, Ernie told me to.
Yeah, right?
Ernie said I needed a cock in my mouth. Ernie's mouth can't. Ernie has to just like you can't even deep throat Ernie because it ends.
Plus, if you're fucking a Sesame Street, it's Cookie Monster all day.
Absolutely.
It's Cookie Monster all day.
Big Bird, maybe.
The jaw action would be amazing.
Yeah. Working out that jaw all the time?
All
absolutely.
Day. All day. Yeah.
Stay away from the count.
Oh, yeah, that's pointy.
Yeah, too pointy.
And then that garbage one's got STDs for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely stay away from Oscar the Grouch. You're absolutely right. Yeah. But you know.
Too hard to put in the mood.
And you want to stay away from Snuffleupagus because that's like having a chick in Niagara Falls. Nobody believes she exists. And you're just like, come on, I fucked Snuffleupagus. I'm telling you, I fucked it.
With a fucking schlong like that, I think Snuffleupagus fucks you. I would feel insecure.
We don't have to choose.
You know?
We can go reach aroundsies. We're okay with that.
Yeah,
hey,
like
and Snuffleupagus.
I'm not going to pretend like you fucking, you have a 6-inch dog or a 6-foot dog.
6 foot? Are you kidding me?
I'm like, I feel a little weird about
It's like
this.
one of those weird animes going on here.
That's yours. I can't help that.
Eventually recruit them to become what he is. And the sad part of this is that if homosexuals, because they don't have their own children, they have to recruit the children of heterosexual couples in order.
Because that's how it works. Because I just like that's
it's a game of tag.
Right.
Tag you're gay.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Oh man, so that's why and actually that makes sense because that's why heterosexual couples only ever have heterosexual
children. Absolutely.
Right. So
absolutely. They only recruit those children to heterosexuality.
Right. So I look and when I'm thinking about what turns me on, I think about what gets dad hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's always like.
And you know what's gross is your son thinks the same thing. Isn't that everything is like, I know everything is like a Freudian Oedipus complex to these people.
For sure.
Because they're constantly talking about like, well, what is, what are your parents? How do your parents basically affect your sex life? And I can say, 100% for me, not at all. Like I never once thought, I never thought of my parents as sexual individuals. I never had any moment to think about them like that. So it never affected me. It was always external stimuli from the family because my parents didn't even talk to me about the birds and the bees until I was well after knowing about the birds and the bees.
I don't even understand what if you were raised by a single parent?
Yeah.
That like didn't have a romantic relationship with anybody. You're like, I don't know, I'm asexual, or I can only I'm only attracted to my own masturbation. Like it's like these guys have no idea how any of this works. What they are is they're wondering why they're gay.
Yeah.
This guy is wondering why he's gay. And he's looking around at external forces like, I don't know, maybe it's demons or sexy puppets. I don't know what does it.
It's got to be something.
I don't know what does it, but I really want to suck a dick.
Well, it's interesting because, and then it was clearly blaming something that probably didn't happen to him. He wasn't raised by gay people.
Well,
you know what I mean? So,
but that's why his argument doesn't make sense.
He's trying to find something.
Right.
So none of it made sense anyway.
Right.
The puppet didn't make sense either, Tom. It turns out it wasn't the puppet.
It
wasn't the gay parents at the adoption agency.
To continue and propagate their own population of available sex partners.
Wait, how do they populate the population? I don't understand how this works. They just steal kids and then they farm raise them into gays?
I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Where would the first gay person come from? Like even in this crazy madcap, bizarro, not how it works at all universe where human sexuality is grossly. Where would the first one come from?
Hold on, let me go back just for a second. Yeah. These people believe in Adam and Eve. Where did the first one come from?
I know. Because the thing is like if his answer would be demons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like that ridiculous Simpsons thing. It's like whenever you see something like that, a wizard did it.
They are perverting and recruiting children by making these false allegations. And that is a demonic spirit inside of you, Mark Saltzman, who are targeting children for your own pleasure. And that, of course, was condemned by Jesus himself. The Bible says this in Matthew chapter 18. Jesus said, "Whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a millstone were hung around his neck and he were drowned in the depths of the sea."
Remember Jesus Peace giver. Do you remember peace giver Jesus?
That is a gentle hippie Jesus sort of thing to say.
Sweet, loving, huggy Jesus.
You know, if a child sins and it's your fault, you should be drowned in the ocean.
Just want you to know it's worse than waterboarding.
End quote. Let's pray about this. Would you pray with me?
Hey, can we all pray for someone to get drowned? Let's all put our hands together and pray, pray someone. Drowned.
Everybody worried about gay puppets?
Yeah.
Everybody worried about gay puppets. Put your hands together and come up with something better to do with your life.
Father in heaven, we pray that you would protect the children of American culture, especially those who watch beloved programs like Bert and Ernie on Sesame Street. And Father, protect them from the homosexualization of the liberal culture who wants to reach every child possible.
We don't just want to reach every child. We want to reach around every child. There's a difference, buddy.
Your own pleasure. And Father, we pray against that sin of recruiting and defiling. Father, we pray for the protection of every innocent child. Whether they
you want us to protect the innocent kids? What about the dirty ones?
What about them? What about those ones from shithole countries? Can we protect them or no? Do those ones, we just let those guys die in the tsunamis, right? That's what we do?
What is this prayer? Like, what in his mind is God going to do to intervene?
Here's what I think. Do you know, if you've been to the county fair or to the carnival, and you go there and they have all those soda bottles and they're all sitting there and you throw a little ring.
Yeah.
So what God does is God has millstones and he throws those around people's necks and then they just fall into water and they drown. So that's how God protects you. So you know, because of all those people who created gay puppets who were drowned before in the past.
Yes.
You know that it's true.
That's true. The history is right there.
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't see it for myself.
It's just like there's whole books full of those puppet creators.
This is how I know for certain there is no God, because if there were and you had infinite power, you would totally play carnival games with people on Earth. Because that's an amazing idea.
Would you throw like the millstones on people from really far away?
I got one.
Oh,
you
so
award yourself
close.
a prize. Like, hey, I got a big stuffed animal.
Another koala bear.
Public programs or Christian programs, Father, we pray that America will protect their children in Jesus' name. Amen.
He just pointed at the
Amen. He finger gunned the camera.
Finger gun the camera.
Amen.
Like those puppets finger gun each other. Actually, in order to get a puppet to do anything, you got to fist them. I mean, that's the only way to do it.
And if you'd like a puppet to fist, you can head over to adamandeve.com and our Gloria checkout. Get 50% off almost any item, a free sex swing, and what else? You get free shipping? Free
shipping.
Gift?
No, free shipping. The free gift is the sex swing.
The sex swing.
Yeah,
they give you fucking everything. I think you check out and they just give you the whole store at this point.
They give you a fist too if you want. They sell rubber ones. So check it out. AdamandEve.com, Gloria at checkout. So we want to thank our patrons. Of course, we want to thank all our patrons. We want to thank our newest patrons, Logan, Strup. I don't know. What is that? It's something backwards. Nancy, Alex, Andrew, Red, William, and Scott. Thanks so much for your generous donations. We really do appreciate all the donations to Glory Hole Studios. So we wanted to go through a little bit of email that we received. We got a message from Stuart, and Stuart, guest of the show, Stuart, the host of the Exposing Pseudo-Astronomy podcast, asked us, he says he's going to be traveling with a bunch of graduate students, and he was curious, how, he's about 6 episodes behind, and he's wondering, would our show be appropriate car listening? No.
In a car full of mostly female graduate students?
No, absolutely not.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Are you?
No. You've been on this show before, Stuart.
This show should only be listened to in an anechoic chamber of shame.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be in your blanket fort, hiding and crying and eating cookies when you listen to this. That's the only way to listen to this show.
Your earbuds inside, like nestled in one of those big shooter earmuffs,
or in hidden within Bose noise canceling headphones, so no one outside of it can hear it.
And then you stick your head in a bucket of cement and wait for it to dry. Then you can listen to the show.
Or if you don't have cement, you can actually do that with Oreo cookie filling. Which is fine too. But you got to spackle up all the air holes.
If I had a bucket of Oreo cookie filling, I would be exactly my size plus exactly as fat as that bucket. I would eat that bucket every day.
I'd spackle my nipples with that. Are you kidding?
Oh my
me?
God.
That's amazing.
I would coat homeless people in that and eat them. I don't even
walk up, putting it in their beard. Just like, I can't wait to suck this out of your beard.
That's so goddamn gross. Oh my God.
So we got a message from Elvis, and Elvis let us know that the last person tried in a military tribunal was the Lincoln assassination conspirators in 1865. That's rolling it back. I wanted to mention, too, Elvis came to a live show that we did, the Citation Needed live show. He brought me 2 CDs and a book. I was so excited because he brought me 2 CDs, and then I went home and realized I can't play them anywhere. So I actually have to go to work and burn them onto MP3 so I can listen to them because I can't play the media anymore. But we wanted to thank Elvis. He came out. It was great to meet him, and it was nice enough to give us some gifts. But
very nice.
But Elvis lets us know that the Lincoln assassination conspirators. So that's rolling it back a little. Other than, of course, John McCain. John McCain was the next one after them.
After the military tribunal execution.
John McCain just had it happen recently. We talked last week about Hillary Clinton being erased from the history textbooks in Texas. And John sends in a message and says, he's wondering about the history textbooks in what they're going to cover in the 2016 presidential election. Here's a possibility. While Donald Trump did receive the necessary number of votes to win the Electoral College and thus become president, he did lose the popular vote, coming in second to nobody. I don't even know how you do it. It's amazing because they just forget that she was a major part of that entire year.
Well,
right?
or just like and then Obama, who's the Secretary of State? He didn't have one.
I didn't have it. We just didn't have one.
Pass.
Yeah. Who's Bill Clinton's wife? Tom, we got a message from Mike about Hurricane Florence.
He said, in all fairness to Pat, I live in a suburb of Raleigh where we pay the highest city taxes in the area, and there was no damage to our city. Coincidence? I think that maybe Pat was having his people pray with money, which, as we all know, is the only prayer that counts.
It certainly is.
You're not wrong, buddy.
Oh, Pat. We got a couple of messages about the national anthem. We got one from John, who said that they used to play the national anthem in Britain, and they used to play it at cinemas. And he said the film would finish and the audience would be expected to stand for the anthem, and people would rush out as the credits were rolling to avoid this. I love how patriotic you guys are like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to wait a whole minute for a song.
Oh my God, get your shit.
I don't care who the gaffer was. I gotta get out of here. Oh, Tom, this was one you wanted to read. This is from Leo, and he's from Canada.
Well, I just want to read his sign off. He's talking about the national anthem. Basically, he says that every single day without exception, each school, all the students have stood for O Canada, which I still think is hilarious. I know. What a ridiculous place you call a country. He also says, whenever we enter a hospital, we have to stand while the anthem plays in front of a mural of Trudeau gay kissing Obama before we get our free health care.
That's fucking amazing. So funny. We got an image. We got an image of something we talked about last week. We're going to post it on this week's show notes. It's an awesome image.
It really is.
Amrit sent it in. So thanks so much for your image here, Amrit. Hilarious. We got another message about the anthem in the UK. So a couple of people said that they do it in Australia. They do it in Canada. They stand up for the anthem in Canada. But I guess in the UK, they just don't play it ever. And they just don't, like, it's very rare that they play it. And on this email, Peter sent in, he included Sex Pistols' God Save the Queen, which is a fucking awesome, hilarious song from the old school punk days. So we're going to put a link to this, in the spirit of national anthems, we're going to put a link to this YouTube video on this week's show notes. This is episode 436. So this comes out Monday. We will have done, because we're planning on doing on Saturday, a Discord show. I'm hoping that this show releases to patrons, though, before then, so you will know there's a Discord show coming up Saturday, 3 p.m. Central. We're going to be doing a Discord show. If you wanted to hear that show and you're not a patron, you could always become a patron. That show will have been recorded and will be available to patrons only. It'll be an entire show that we record, like I say, this Saturday. So that is going to wrap it up for this week. We are going to leave you, like we always do, with the Skeptic's Creed.
Credulity is not a virtue. It's fortune cookie cutter, mommy issue, hypno-Babylon bullshit. Couched in scientician, double bubble, toil and trouble, pseudo quasi alternative, acupunctuating, pressurized, stereogram, pyramidal, free energy healing, watered downward spiral, brain deadpan sales pitch, late night info docutainment. Leo, Pisces, cancer cures, detox, reflex, foot massage, death and towers, tarot cards, psychic healing, crystal balls, Bigfoot, Yeti, aliens, churches, mosques and synagogues, temples, dragons, giant worms, Atlantis, dolphins, truthers, birthers, witches, wizards, vaccine nuts, shaman healers, evangelists, conspiracy, doublespeak, stigmata, nonsense. Expose your sides. Thrust your hands, bloody, evidential, conclusive. Doubt even this.
The opinions and information provided on this podcast are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of Glory Hole Studios, LLC. Cognitive Dissonance makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, currentness, suitability, or validity of any information, and will not be liable for any errors, damages, or butthurt arising from consumption. All information is provided on an as-is basis. No refunds. Produced in association with the local Dairy Council and viewers like you.